I know I have a lot of Jazz viewers on the channel, and I did end up covering a lot of the starters or potential starters for the roster and the more interesting stories over the past few weeks. But I felt like it would be prudent of me to go ahead and do a slight breakdown of the rookie that's supposed to make a difference for them and has been making waves in the presentation and the expectation for him this upcoming season, whose name is Keyonte George. Thanks for tuning into the video. As always, it's your boy Wraith Hoops. Make sure to like the video so that the algorithm knows to push the content out to more viewers. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this one. Now, the official report is that the point guard battle is up for grabs. Whoever really plays their hardest, whoever does what the coaching staff and with ownership would like to see out of their point guard the most, will be the person to get the job. That being said, there have been a couple rumors going around talking about how they really like Keyonte George and how Colin Sexton is looking more like a sixth man and how they're so deep at the position that if they don't decide to go with the 1-2 tandem and move Ochai to the bench as a more of a six-man type of guy and start maybe Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson, then Colin Sexton might be the guy that's on the chopping block. Alongside Kelly Olynyk for some other reasons. I did make a separate video about that you can check out. But I'm not the highest on trading too many of the assets that they have because they are a wonderfully deep team, but I do understand that the main issue with them is the fact that everybody is all around the same level of player. Like, it's great to have depth, but when you have 5-6 of the same player or 3-4 the same type of guy on your roster, it gets kind of redundant, and you would like to make a switch for perhaps a specialist of some sort or just more draft capital, as we know Danny Ainge is known to notoriously do. That being said, this video is about Keyonte George, so let's really dive into what he did in college. Now, this past year, obviously, he did end up playing at Baylor. Previous to that, he was at IMG Academy, which is a very important thing to know because IMG Academy is one of those basketball factories and football player factories as well, for those that know. He comes out as 6'4", 185 as his listed metrics. And in college, he did end up playing in 33 different games, averaging 15.3 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. Obviously not exactly the most ideal playmaker and not the most prototypical point guard that you would have on your roster, but they like him anyways. That being said, he shot 37.6% from the floor and 33.8% from the three-point line, to go along with 79% from the free throw line. Understanding that he did shoot 79% from the free throw line kind of calms my nerves a bit and makes me less worried about his shooting splits because I know that he is capable of doing more and he just needs to get into the flow of it. The overall 37% shooting from the field is kind of questionable, but I think it's one of those things that he's just going to grow into the NBA game. Consistently having to compete against guys that are all really starter caliber level players is going to do wonders for him and really just boost his ability to play and his understanding of the game by just taking those reps every single day in practice. I'm not going to go out here and say that I expect him to start because I don't. And there's no indicator that he's just drastically going to prove these numbers to be just a simple taste test for what he's capable of doing. Now, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, we could see something really interesting and he could be a truly special player. And I'm not going to say that he's not, but it is also reasonable to understand that he has a long way to go. Considering that management already has decided that they like him more than they originally did when they first drafted him, tells you that he has to at the very least have good tendencies as far as practicing goes, as far as film room stuff goes, as far as studying goes, as far as just demeanor and body language goes. And he has to also be at the very least decently liked by his teammates. He doesn't have to be loved, but he has to be somebody that people want to be on the court with and want to be in the room with, whether it be going over plays or just going over study habits and looking through film measures. I do expect him to play big minutes. If they do like him as much as they say they do, even if there isn't a trade and they do decide to run with the guards that they do have on their roster at the moment, which I could definitely see them doing, it'll be a matter of time before he carves out some decent minutes. Now, it might only be like 15-ish, but 15 to 20-ish minutes would be a good sample size to really just see what he can do when he's given reins to the offense. And I think this team has a ceiling that's high enough to where they're going to be playing in meaningful games and winning in those games. And him being able to learn and actually play and get hands-on in those moments while not being completely thrown to the wolves from a dumpster fire organization, because that's not what this team is by any stretch of the imagination. Though some people would like to argue that they are not going to be a playoff team, to me, this is a no-brainer. Markkanen's had one of the most efficient 25-point per game seasons in NBA history. I expect him to continue. I expect John Collins to continue to gain his three-pointer back. He shot 37% after the 2023 All-Star break, so I think his form is coming right back. Walker Kessler, given more minutes, is going to block more shots. He's already a very prominent player, considering the fact that even though he was mismanaged on Team USA basketball, he's going to get better. Add that to the massive pool of guards they have alongside Taylor Hendricks being the rookie coming in as a forward, and you have a really tantalizing lineup to work with. That being said, Keyonte George really is going to just have to carve out his minutes within what they all have, assuming there's no trade. And if there is a trade, more minutes might open up for him. I would guess that he averages single digits, but he might get probably around 9-ish points a game. I think I could see him doing that. And depending on how he improves as a passer, you could see even more improvements out of him, especially if he manages to be a solid defender. And when you have Chris Dunn on the roster with you, you have somebody to learn from in that department as well. But with that being said, go ahead and like the video so that the algorithm knows to push it out to more viewers. Go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. Subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Without any further ado, good morning, good evening, good night, no matter where you are on the globe watching. Thanks for tuning into this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.